Hello, friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. My name is Jason Beckedham, and today we're going to be looking at how we can get the best of both worlds with Tableau, state-of-the-art visualization and dashboarding, as well as having a Snowflake Cortex agent at our fingertips directly in the dashboard. Let me show you what I mean. So if we look at this dashboard right here, and I ask a dummy question like, who are my largest clients? Right? I am sending this off to Snowflake, but I'm currently in a Tableau dashboard, right? So on the left-hand side here, I have my regular Tableau visualizations, my Tableau tables that I really like, but on the right, I can actually ask Snowflake questions, and both of these consoles can actually interact together within the scope of the Tableau dashboard. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, the answer that I've gotten back here for my top 5 clients by AUM have now been highlighted on my visualization in my bar. And in turn, I'm also going to be filtering this table down here. Right, so we're essentially now turning dashboards into living, breathing applications that can be affected by an agent. And in this case, it's being affected by a Snowflake agent. Right, so I also have a button here called Filter Dashboard. If I select that, you'll see my Tableau dashboard is now getting filtered specifically to the clients that are being called out here. Right, so that's a question. This is a very dummy question because this could actually be answered on the dashboard. Let's take this one step further, right? Let's say I really wanted to understand another question. I'm going to say, who am I meeting with this month? Right, so in this case, I am lucky that I actually do have this field in this table, and I really just want to have this for demonstration purposes. This is actually something I see all the time where our dashboard has a lot of great information, but it's really just missing that last, 2% of information. Well, right here, I can see again, our Snowflake agent is actually calling out, right? These are the people that we're meeting with. We're highlighting this on our dashboard, our bar chart, and we're filtering our table. Right, finally, I'm going to show you one last flavor of this. So if I now say, okay, I'm going to meet with the Patterson estate, right, and I select this, well, I can now pass this filter automatically to my Snowflake prompt. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, if I ask a question like, what's my top performing positions for the Patterson estate, I'm actually going to, you'll notice at the top of my screen here, I actually have a filter being passed from my dashboard selection into Snowflake. Right? To me, this is amazing, right? A lot of the times people are actually having issues just selecting an agent and talking to it, right? So by giving a dashboard directly, as a way to at least select things, select filters, select big charts like this, now we can see for the Patterson estate, we can see their different positions and we can see the gain loss of those positions as well, right? These are not real, this is not real gain loss for these products. I'll just keep that in mind. Finally, I'll do this again, but I'm going to do it for another use case that I see. Let's do allocation, right? Maybe I'm meeting with them and I want to understand allocation. When I do that, we're going to see a breakdown of the Patterson portfolio, right? So I could have placed this in quite a bit of dashboards. I could have had a ton of dashboards, but no, we now have the power of agents. However, I still think agents can be really enhanced by having a dashboard starter. So when I select that, you can see now we're looking at the Patterson allocation instead. Really, at the end of the day, right, we have some data in Snowflake, and the way that you would architect this is in our Tableau dashboard, right, the data source that you would actually use is coming from Snowflake, right? So that, I think, is the key. I have client holdings, client positions, holdings history, all coming live from Snowflake. Right, so this would inherit my OAuth, it would inherit my role of security directly inside of Tableau. And then in Tableau, I can still get the great goodness of being able to do state-of-the-art visualizations, state-of-the-art bar charts. I'm really just touching the surface on this, but we could, in this case, we actually have an inline calculation, right? So in this case, this is a table calculation. This is really nice in Tableau, being able to understand percent total of my total AUM for each one of my clients that are in view. But as soon as some of these clients actually filter down, this number will also filter down, right? Or recalculate directly in my dashboard. Now I'll see here, these are my two sheets. And then this right here is a Tableau dashboard extension that is essentially using a Cortex API as well as, an event listener between, an event listener that actually is scoped to the workbook, right? So the workbook is handling the state of all the filters within my dashboard, right? The filters both going into Cortex, but also the filters that are being driven from Cortex. The Tableau dashboard is actually handling all that. And then finally, another reason why I like this a lot is a lot of clients who use Tableau, a lot of people who use Tableau in a large company who would also use Snowflake have actually already thought about all the different governance and delivery of those Tableau dashboards, right? So, hey, this person, this set of people can only see this set of dashboards, right? That's something that is actually quite tricky to actually get right. And Tableau has really good governance, really good projects, structures, and user permissions that can help you do that, right? So if you're also thinking, I have a ton of stuff in Snowflake right now, and I want to have a delivery mechanism to actually get this out to people, right? Tableau is fantastic for that because Tableau can do a website portal that's Tableau Cloud as an example. It can do Tableau Server, which is on-prem. It can be placed in Salesforce embedded, right, with a native Lightning Web component if you have users in Salesforce. And then it can also be placed in a third-party portal or application, right? So if you're trying to create some type of headless command center and you still want to have some level of dashboarding within that command center, that's another use case that is happening a lot in the market right now. You can do that and you can get everything working together, right? Just like we saw. So with that, thank you so much for listening to this. This is Tableau and Snowflake working better together. Thanks, team.